I had this vision of, I'm not even joking here, I had this vision of going through all of the roadmaps and talking about the patches bit by bit and then going through the patch notes and talking about all the features. But that would be many, many hours. So maybe we'll do that at another point. So I don't really think I could be bothered to do that right now. Just because there's a lot of granularity I probably don't remember. But even like, remember seeing this? Because I like the reason I wanted to do this was there's plenty of, how to describe this? Plenty of things you forget.
Well, this did not sell us up the river, did it? Not at all.
No, because like you think of this, right? And you look at this and you go, well, Primalist tomorrow, who gives the trading post? That was a pretty fucking good addition, right? It's been doing a lot of work. Even the fact now there's some parts of this is kind of annoying if they tie dialogue to trading post weapons. You can get a little bit of, what are you doing? But I think it's perfectly fine for an idea to do that thing.
That's okay. They did it so that us and Wowhead can still be in business.
Sweet, thank you. And then like
we need tooltips. Please give us more tooltips.
Yeah, and correlator like white and grey transmogs.
Big.
That's fucking huge.
Hang on, did that not also like break recently or something?
So?
I heard someone say something. You know what? Maybe I've been on the crack pipe again.
You spend an awful lot of time on that. You shouldn't watch out. But yeah, like that was something I forgot that happened.
Yes.
Because you just kind of forget things happen and go, oh my God, that was like a pretty big change. Obviously, Dragonriding was a change that came in. Dragon trees, talent trees were a thing that came in and obviously changed up the game substantially in a way that I think everyone is mostly happy with. I'd love to find people who one, have thought it through, two, played the game a lot at a decent level, and three, would want to go back to the old version. I'd like to find those people because I don't know how many of them exist. I'm sure they're dying breed. You think about like Spring and you go, well, what was in 07? Forbidden Reach, that was a pretty good zone. It nailed the flow of flying around and doing all your stuff. The Human and Orc Heritage Armor.
Great.
That Orc Heritage Armor quest. I forgot it existed because you don't think about it. Great.
Hey, Matt, new zone.
Yeah.
10-2, 10-1. New zone.
Yeah.
New raid. New PvP season. Yeah. Profession updates. UI improvements.
Yeah. So like even not everything was stellar here. Obviously a lot of it was just here's your zones and raids. And they're fine. But,
yeah.
But remember what came in Tempo 1? Flight stones and crests.
That's the big thing.
It already feels normal to us. But and it wasn't even on the roadmap here. They just went revolutionize gearing forever.
Yep.
And you go, fuck. That really did like change the game.
There's still resistance to it, but the thing is,
when
was there the most resistance? When it was new. But it seems like this is something that, yes, there's cognitive load whenever there's a new thing. But as people slowly get onboarded to it, I suppose it just reaches a stage of stably working, and it sort of feels like we're at that.
Yeah, it's like
with gear. I don't think about any of these things anymore, really. Yeah. They just are there. They're part of the game. That's it.
Yeah, even going to, because our raid night was yesterday and you weren't there, but we were going through, and the fact that there's an upgrade vendor in the middle of the fucking raid is so good.
Yeah.
Because you go and kill a boss and get a couple flightstones, get a couple crests, and on your way to the next boss, you get to upgrade your either the item that just dropped, because it would drop a little bit lower, but you want to upgrade it with obviously if you have a higher item level, you've got the discount, or if, it just drops, you get a hero piece and you want to upgrade a little bit, you can just do that. You can just upgrade an item on the way to the fucking next boss, which, like, compared to any other time World of Warcraft history, if you were to upgrade it, it's like, hey, there's an upgrade system. You'd have to teleport out of the raid and do 7 fucking dances at the top of Stormwind for money, and then get, whatever it is, you can upgrade that.
The whole process of getting new gear in MoB.
Yeah, or doing anything in Shadowlands, anything ever.
And it was funny because they had all the responses to MoB gearing getting a bit out of hand, they thought, and then it turned into Shadowlands.
Yeah.
Which was almost like, hey, we have designed a game so that you all have raid bot subscriptions.
Yeah, so there's clearly still a bunch of issues, but KW says only fixed after players complained and everything is in currency tab. Yeah. And it's fixed.
Yeah.
And now it's fixed. And now we're going into the war within with an upgrade system that has been implemented revolution of the game and fixed it. And I don't want to I'm going to end up sounding like I'm saying, you should be grateful. You should be, be daily gratefulness for all of your, have a fucking, the gratefulness journal that you write down all the things you're happy for.
Gratitude journal.
Gratitude journal, one of those. Get one of those for World of Warcraft. I'm not coming across like that, but I genuinely am trying to say there's a lot of stuff we kind of already take for granted that Dragonflight did that was kind of huge that we don't really feel that anyway. We don't feel that every day, but it is always there. Same with the professional bits in Dragonflight itself.
Yeah,
I don't really engage in them very much, but the crafting system it has some issues, some usability problems. It's the people are asking 10k for shit they should be asking 5 gold for, and they can fuck off. But generally good stuff. Same with even just going through. Not all
5 gold is a bit low.
Yeah, not all of this is great, but generally you're like,
I think it's just that we hit, from sort of season 2 into season 3. That's where, and especially because in 1007 the plot stuff was quite strong.
It was. Yeah.
You then hit just inconsistency, inconsistency, and I think ultimately the bronze Dragonflight stuff being less than a lot of people thought it would be. Now I know that the moment it's all centered around is literally what's starting off the next expansion and probably this whole World Soul Saga thing. So I know that it does matter. But I think people were probably expecting something maybe a little bit more grand, different. I think ultimately a lot of people did expect that to be a raid.
Yeah.
At the time. Because, of course, not everybody, people didn't really know how much there would be in this expansion. Other ones have had 4 raids. This one had 3. It had more things in and around that. But, this, I think, firmly is the structure of WoW going forward. And ultimately, I'm happy with it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because here's, just because this goes into a little bit more depth, because it was, out. The Scare Vaults was a cool little experiment.
Oh, yeah, great.
The Annulet was an experiment that I think ultimately failed in terms of how people felt about it at the end. I think maybe, I know I didn't like it very much. It was a sort of power catch-up that no one wanted and kind of unbalanced and reckless for a long time.
It was looked like it would only be relevant for 6 weeks, but then it turned out it actually did have power, and then they nerfed it, a certain way into that season.
Yeah. So that was a wee bit scuffed, but even then there's failed experiments that they discard. Because what did they do for power catch-up in this patch? Maybe they'll do something in the next patch because it was kind of a between patch. But they put the fucking head enchant in the game.
Also the future warbands.
Yeah.
Warbound gear.
Yeah, warbound gear for that catch-up gear stuff.
For your alts as an example.
Night Stalker, take that back. Don't even suggest the annual being updated in season 4. Shut up.
Oh!
That is full curse of wrath here in the whole player base. Don't do it. Don't do it.
There's Twin Mama still use it to run old content, get a huge speed buff.
Oh, interesting.
Wait, speed buff? How fast can you make that?
I don't know. I don't know about that. Didn't even know it gave you speed.
Onyx Annulet speed set. Here's an Icy Veins article about it.
Nice.
Let's see. How much speed can you get? The answer is you get some, and this is a big article that I'll have to look into. Never mind.
Insane.
But that's neat.
Fantastic.
That's actually no. How about tell us how much speed do you get? Oh, Night Stalker's Fury Warrior in a speed set is at 202% move speed baseline.
Go away.
Twin Mammoth 561% move speed.
That's not 561% move speed. That's 561 speed stat.
Oh, whoops.
That's not 561%.
What am I on about?
Christ. Just dragon riding on foot, yeah, no.
Just sitting there in your, sandboxed server with all the console commands. Fucking tap the W key.
Never done that. Who would do that? That's awful.
Oh no, nobody does that. Yeah,
Nobody.
Never.
Nobody. But yeah. Was there anything else here specifically? Nothing really very specific. Did I talk about the UI being fixed in Dragonflight? Obviously, that's a 2022 improvement generally, but I don't use LVUI anymore because the UI works.
Yeah.
I don't use an action bar add-on.
Yeah, same.
And my UI is better and I feel happier for it than I will have consistently.
What it is for me is quite simple. LVUI as much as its functionality and all of that is great,
Soulless Nightmare
is a soulless nightmare, and it does not look like it doesn't look like a fantasy game.
Yeah, and I think the LVI consequences have been horrible. Should never happen. Like, the amount of I think it's great as a piece of software and as an add-on.
Yeah.
But I
too.
think if at some point in the branching timelines there was a version where it was made to look fantasy-esque as opposed to highly customizable and very not fantasy, very gamey. If they made it actually more also, I always forget that word for when something's supposed to match the game. Something genic, that word.
Diegetic?
Diegetic. I always forget that. If it was made to be a little more diegetic, this game would be way happier for it overall. But yes, I think all.
Yeah, so basically overall, I mean, pretty good. Yes, by the time May happens, we learn about Fractures in Time and 1017.
Yeah. Still mixed on that, I think. Across the board.
We were bullish about the idea of them just going and doing something new.
Yeah, I am frustrated they've not been able to.
There's no more.
Yeah, I'm frustrated they've not been able to make it work on the balance side, which is really annoying because I can fucking see the problem. And obviously, they can see the problem and they can't fix it, which means there's something that I don't understand behind the scenes. But
you'd think the solution to the problem would be that I suppose you just admit that
take some of those scaling factors away, please.
Take some of those away, or either just kind of admit at the very top end either this will or will not be a mandatory thing, and make some decisions based on that, because it doesn't really matter that much. If it's not mandatory at the top end, I suppose, right? It's pulling down peak performance to increase baseline with a theme of supporting your allies.
Yeah.
There's a way you could do that where maybe people wouldn't feel like it's completely necessary at the top end. But yeah, I suppose the thing is, like, you reach this decision where Evoker is an easy to play DPS with a shitload of utility, basically. People are like, it's not a DPS. That basically is, though. It gets there via different means, but it's basically just another DPS. So what do? You'd almost imagine that you either scale it back and just sort of leave it at that, consider it maybe a bit of a failed experiment, or you just add some more supports so that then there is some competition for that gameplay niche. But ultimately, it seems they're just moving forward and not just letting it be there as the only support.
Yeah.
Which is weird. But
it's weird, but if people have liked it, you also don't want to take it away.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I think that's the fun thing there.
I think they probably said to themselves, what's the worst thing that could happen?
Yeah, people don't like it. Oh no. Obviously, it kind of wrecked the whole season for the high-end players.
Oh, there's that.
Yeah, let's not think about that too much. That was obviously a problem. That was obviously a problem in and of itself.
What's it like this season?
That's a good question. I haven't seen anyone cry about it too much, except people still cry about it. So I think it might be substantially less a problem. But also, I will say
I did have significant nerfs.
Yeah, I have been very out of the Mythic Plus scene. I actually barely played well.
There's all that. Time Rifts, I think, were good for what they were, actually.
Yeah, Time is
perfectly happy.
Another thing is the world event stuff.
Yeah.
The world event and the focus on that content in Dragonflight and going on, especially with Azeroth Archives coming soon. Which is basically just, hey, there's another world event in the world, go do it. I think same with Furbolg Faction Awards. Yeah. That was a one-time thing. But they're like, fuck it, just go grind a rep, whatever you want. Grind a rep, have fun. I think that stuff just kind of works.
Oh, Brelchar's at 3350 rating. Most of their keys have been done without an AUG.
Ah, okay.
Sounds good, makes sense. Cool.
Nice Sticker saws consensus is 3 DPS is better for DPS, but yeah, so I
saw
guess
someone else say that with AUG, slower but safer.
Yeah, which obviously is going to work up until a point.
Mm-hmm.
Or might be necessary at a certain point, but it seems like they've got it into a good enough spot where people are going, there's a pro and there's a con, as opposed to it being, oops, all pros.
Fair play. I suppose another thing, okay, right, so Fury Incarnate then. Dream Surges! Yeah, fine, whatever. People didn't really notice them, but
I think
you can just fly around a zone and get a shitload of gear to basically get a character ready in like an hour.
So it might actually be not perfect, but fit one of its roles as a catch-up system that people like to do really quickly.
Night Elf and Forsaken Heritage Armor quests have been talked about a lot by both of us.
Sure have.
We probably don't need to do that again.
Night Elf, Forsaken.
There we go. Oh, you're becoming a master of brevity. We're just getting emojis with sound effects now.
I figured I should maybe get some sort of wit installed.
Reforging Tier and more.
Who?
I've liked that storyline. Perfectly happy with it.
I like the Tears Guard stuff, but all of the actual Reforging Tier stuff to me has been kind of...
It's been fine.
It's been kind of recappy a little bit, and I thought the bit where you actually fight this tier fucking sucked. It's just no teeth. I think they must have been kind of rushed to get that done, I think. But
well, that is something that it felt like that as players in and around that time.
Yeah.
But I think as a bit of fantasy, as a scene,
it was good. It was good in that front. Yeah.
I even think about things like, say, the sniff and seeking, where that's like, it's fun, it's inventive. It maybe doesn't get to shine as much as it could have. But at least I like the idea that with Scaravolts and sniff and seeking, that perhaps when we think about delves, means they've maybe... I don't want to be like, they've built new technology, but ultimately what is technology? Like, whatever like dev tools they've used to help them make that kind of content faster is actually technology. So they've probably built, tech practices, things to make that kind of content more feasible to build, which is great. Delves are actually something I'm really kind of excited for. I know that sounds insane, but I don't know, fuck it. I'm excited for them. I think they could be cool. The idea you could do something that's like actually hard solo is great. I know there's lots of people, Horrific Visions. They just got to do Horrific Visions as a game within a game, and it's crazy you can't do that now. So Horrific Visions, bring them back. Time sprinting Horrific Visions.
Yeah, done. I can't even remember what these returning player improvements were.
That was the the way you hit the button and it basically puts all your stuff.
Oh yeah,
the
gear update. The gear update.
Yeah,
the gear update. That's right.
Okay, season 3.
I'm sure it will get better if we look at
season 3.
This version of it. Emerald Dream. I have not engaged the zone whatsoever because I've just not been playing the game that much.
It's a zone.
Yeah, I've heard people say it's a zone. I've heard people say it's really good. I've heard people say it's pointless.
It's a nice zone.
No, I like being in it. That's for sure. And I think the story quests were outside of the story sucking at the cutscene and having to truncate the last bit into everyone's here. All of some of the actual stuff talked about Birthright and Nasera was a lot more enjoyable than before. So in terms of the weirdness. In terms of the setups they put us in, like having to use the zone to your advantage, felt quite nice.
It's like campaign. Good, really good ending, and the epilogue. You sort of talk to the characters. They actually, they're not just saying, nice champion, you've beaten us off. Here's a tenner, go buy yourself a bag of chips, goodbye. Right, so like that feels better. But as the PC Gamer article pointed out, the turbo fucking cringe Avengers scene with Alex Straza, the Raid End cinematic. There is one good thing though. They didn't destroy a loon. You were kind of worried that could potentially be in the cards. So that's, I think, good. Actually, Red Sparrow, the seeds and super blooms are nice, but it could have used more rares and events. Yeah, I get that. I think that the seeds and stuff is actually feels like you can get into a fun little flow, but it's maybe just not quite there. I think for me, the super bloom event, it's boring. It's just kind of boring, right? It just it takes a while, and you just end up like, cool, 4 minutes of clicking on the flowers. And then it's that strange thing. It's as if the scoring and everything that was going on with Researchers Under Fire, that was the problem. But Researchers Under Fire itself actually sort of felt like things were going on. Had a bit more of a sort of snappy pace to it.
Oh, I was going to say, what do you mean? It was just fighting boys, but yeah, I get you.
Yeah, it had a snappier pace. So they're saving a loon for midnight. Yeah, I think so, and it's definitely the right move. Everything with Belemeth, I think, has been an exercise in threading the needle. I think in a way that is as good as they reasonably can, and I'm satisfied with it.
I very much look forward to having a moment after the next patch and just sitting down and going, let's look at all of that again. from the perspective with hindsight, now that we've seen it all unfold, how do you feel about it? I look forward to going. Please don't fucking talk with the Night Elves again. Thank you.
Okay, Dream Wardens. Yep, grand, whatever. Class sets.
The what? Sorry, I think I'm like around like 4 or 5. I haven't done
What?
It. I haven't done it. I've basically only. I've been raid logging like.
Yeah, I've got way more renown and like. Again, I wish War Within was here because the character that I actually enjoy playing is my paladin, and that is not the character that I raid as. So my paladin has got like way more renown than my actual raiding character. Anyway, class sets. I think those look fantastic. I certainly want to earn them in characters. New PvP season. Wow, very healthy. Venruki gets content for Venruki. Mythic Plus Dungeon Pool. Great. This has been a really positive season of Mythic Plus. We actually have literal data for that, which is awesome. So, and of course, the raid itself, I think, a tremendous raid.
I very much found it mid plus so far, but I think I'm going to do.
That's not.
So there are 2 reasons for that.
Yeah.
I'll be clear. The 2 reasons for that are I wasn't there for most of our initial heroic prog.
Yeah.
And I wasn't there for any of our normal prog. So by the time I actually got to play, we walked over normal first. I was like, what the? Okay. And then in heroic, it's been like prog for the past like 4 bosses. And I've been undergeared compared to everyone else. And I've just kind of been like, I don't want to say it's too easy, but it's been too easy for me. I'm kind of sleepy. Which is,
but you also don't enjoy Boomkin.
And the second part is that I don't actually enjoy Boomkin, and I just remember there's a third part as well. The second part is I don't enjoy Boomkin, and that's because I don't enjoy ranged, because I don't know how anyone enjoys ranged. And this was if we have a break glass in case of emergency segment, in case we didn't talk enough about things we had. Which now that I look at the time, I go, well, that was fucking stupid. We didn't need that ever. But I really do not like ranged. I don't know how people like ranged. My thing was I was going to ask people who play ranged why do they like it, because I don't understand. I cannot enjoy it compared to, maybe it's just because I like tapping A and D when I'm hitting my buttons, and I think that might entirely be it. I like the freedom of movement, and I like especially feral. I like the freedom of feral. If I miss a GCD, I'm not that punished as long as I've got my like bleeds going. I've got decent range to counter it. I've got movement abilities, and I have the speed and survivability if I do things correctly to handle stuff. Whereas I'm a Boomkin and I have to go and stop that thing, but I don't have time, or refreshing my dots is a bad idea, and I don't have any AP pulled. I have to move and not get a cast. I'm going to fucking scream and cry. And the difference there is so insane to me.
It's weird because like positioning there are times with range where you just get into a comfortable position and you just know you can blast for ages.
Yeah.
Because you know the fights.
Yeah, and I don't even enjoy that too much. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, gameplay wise, it depends for a lot of people. If if that means they're getting some really big chaos bolts off, then that kind of feels satisfying because they've set up this window. They then used it well. That feels good to them. I don't know if even some of that is just like if Boomkin just feels like you're infinitely spinning a plate and you don't enjoy spinning the plate, and it maybe doesn't have a rhythm that you enjoy.
Yeah, it's mostly that, and also another part of it might just be because I'm not playing extreme well. I'm like, I'm
like happy with ranged as a hunter.
I'm kind of like high. Depends on how the fight goes, but a lot of the times I end up being like high green to like mid blue parse, which isn't very good. Whenever I was like consistently high blue and purple as feral, so I'm literally worse at it. But to me, I'm like, this is just kind of shit. And some of it comes down to the cooldown timing as well. I feel like so much of my power is inside my incline window, and for some reason, this entire raid has been completely fucking wrong for 3-minute cooldowns and for my Arcanic Pulsar procs. Every time my Pulsar procs is like, oh, it's time for me to fuck myself, I guess. It's been like that was me like every time.
Can we clip that from the stream? Can we get that in a weak aura? So whenever your cooldowns pop up, that's what plays.
Yeah, so like it doesn't feel bad. They're trying to like I am 470 now, which isn't great, and I've got like tier, and it feels fine and it's okay, but it's just not. It's not feral. I don't know. It's just not fair. And I really like the customization, so I think like my character looks great. I've got one like the more greeny kind of ones with the fiery effect. It looks fun, but I'm just sat there like 3 minutes feels like shit. I don't feel like I can excel. I don't feel like I have the movement tools to solve problems. I don't feel like I have the defensive to solve problems. Stampeding Roar is fine, but Stampeding Roar turns me into a fucking bear, which kills the GCD. And like this sucks.
So
I
big
don't
picture.
Like it. I don't like it. But I basically just went off on how much I don't like Bimkin for a second there.
A bunch of things I feel have got to line up.
Yeah.
And when those things are lined up, you are then able to enjoy whatever you're doing. I'm sure so many of us have, it's happened in World of Warcraft, flying laps around Dalaran, or, maybe it's happened where you're just looking at your Steam library thinking, so many games, but nothing I want to play. Depress. Where, if things don't line up in a certain way, we don't really enjoy it. That's a mixture. That's a mixture of many different factors, I suppose. And in something like World of Warcraft for you, like you've missed out, I think, on a vital part of the personal connection that one has with a raid when they go in there on the first day and they, like, you remember progressing the bosses. You remember seeing them evolve from normal to heroic. You've kind of had that experience as opposed to just, you turn up, everyone else knows what to do, and you're basically just this, like, spare dickhead who, like, if you die, it won't really impact the raid. You're not going to be GCD, or GCD'd what? You're not going to get the combat res because you don't matter. That's always, like, a really, like, it's not aligned with how the game's sort of incentive systems and stuff are, unless you're, like, somehow just completely, immediately geared to the tits. But then also, like, you're not enjoying the class. I remember I had my example of this was, oh no, Tarek, sorry. Playing Marksmanship Hunter. And I went from being happy with it to kind of hating it from Legion to BFA. It was just like, for whatever reason, whenever you were just this little vulnerability destruction machine, I was enjoying it. And then whenever it turned into its newer, slower incarnation, I just got so bored. And I was like, oh, true shot, it's going fast. I don't care. And I certainly changed mains and enjoyed the game a hell of a lot more. I think what I'd say is, ranged has... Okay, you can get fingered, ranged, or melee in different ways. I guess with melee, it's like visual bloat. There's a lot of stuff going on. You can hardly see your character. It's, maybe the tank movement's not good. It's being tied to that minimum range. But sometimes, of course, bosses are just so fucking humongous that, you're sitting there just... But the thing I think with melee though is because you have so few hard casts or no hard casts, as it is with say Beast Mastery Hunter, you do have this rather uninterrupted flow. And the bit about range that can get so annoying is when you have hard casts and they get interrupted, and then you get that challenging thing where there are. It's like, okay, I'm not posing these as if they're opposites that come at each other's expense. But if you're going to, pull a Sid Meier and be like, a series of interesting decisions, then you can think about, your hard-casted aim shot means that you've got to plan your movement. Isn't that interesting? A way for you to display your mastery. Whereas, melee, you're just uninterrupted flow. Smash, 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 smash.
Unga bunga feel
Unga bunga.
Unga bunga feel
and you play rhythm games.
Unga bunga feel
You're
good.
an unga bunga. So I think that's probably a lot of it.
Yeah, I just realized when you're talking something.
Also,
actually,
you don't mind Frost.
Yeah, Frost Mage is fine because I get Ice Lance and run around.
There you go.
But I haven't played it since I'd Glacial Spike or Thermal Void, or no, Glacial Spike or what's the beam? The beam's called. I haven't played those. But
oh my god,
Coldy Blast. I don't know.
Yep, my brain's broke.
Yeah, but I realized what it was.
Mortis.
And it's a very small framing difference. Every time I get slightly inconvenienced as arranged, I'm like, I hate this game and I want to die. Every time I get slightly inconvenienced as a melee, I just go, lol, I can fix this. which is obviously down to Feral being fast and having wild charge and stuff. Where I feel like I'm reacting to shit that's annoying me, as like basically the baseline is arranged is great and everything that goes down is shit, but as a melee, everything goes wrong. I'm like, I can fix this. I can make this better, and it feels good.
Yeah,
which is literally the difference. It's like I'm just a Feral player. I should just play Feral. I should just play Feral and Prot Paladin and not play anything else because those are the ones I like the most.
Play things that you enjoy. You'll have more fun in the game.
Yeah, and also I'm not relating this time because I wasn't there at the start, which probably means I'm completely disengaged and just stand there pressing my buttons and going, whatever happens, I don't give a shit as long as I do what I do. And that's not anywhere near as engaging as actually trying to take involvement for the whole. Wow, it turns out you can learn an awful lot if you think about it on camera. Hello.
Just a little bit of nihilistic doomer, and there you go.
Yeah, no problem. It's not even that. It's just like a kind of disconnection, I think.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
That's the question though. It's like, what causes a player to disconnect? What causes a player to not be in flow, to not think a decision's interesting, to not have faith that decision will matter. Those are real things designers have got to grapple with. And almost the point is that it is irrational in many cases. And that's like the thing. Is it irrational or does it appear irrational? Yeah, it maybe appears irrational. Is very personal and subjective, and that is probably Raymond of Frost. It's Ray of Frost.
Raymond.
Oh my God, how did we forget Ray of Frost? Yeah. Anyway, I imagine though that's the bit where it's like game design. They're thinking, how will our players engage with this? Sorry, there's something about like how the rubber hits the road, and I'm wondering if a few variables were ever so slightly different, if you'd be enjoying Boomkin and not Ray leading in Emir Drasil.
Yeah, dude.
So because like
so
Emir Drasil is good.
I'm just gonna have to be a Feral raid leader then. In both meetings.
There you go.
That's it.
Because like Emir Drasil does seem to be really excellent. I very much enjoyed things. I'm looking forward to getting back into heroic progression wherever the hell you guys got to on Monday.
We are straight up going to kill Farak Monday.
Oh,
he's dead. Like he got hot fixed, and the one thing that was killing us is nerfed.
Fixed or nerfed?
It's nerfed.
What was it?
Well, okay, it wasn't okay. We do have some like actual prog to do in terms of moving the seeds at the right time and like making sure that's sorted. If I play Feral, I can do that. It's over. We got him to like 30% on like a two pulls. We one shot Tindril. And then we were dying a little bit to incoming damage from the dot that goes out, and they changed it to be, instead of 2 going out all the time, it's sometimes 1, sometimes 2, which takes the weight off the healer dispels entirely. And also a lot of damage is taken off off Blaze. So basically we are this is a free kill on Monday. Might not even take the full raid in it. Especially if I do some M+ and get a Feral weapon, I can go Feral and my DPS will be like 40% higher.
Holy shit. Okay, well, that's interesting. Other things, right. Are there really Blood Elf customizations? It's a new game. Amazing. Incredible. Talent updates. I think actually Demon Hunters, people say they are in a really excellent spot. They are?
As far as I'm aware, I remember I looked at it and I went, these, maybe not balance-wise, but in terms of like gameplay-wise, I think this is we're getting close to Mists of Pandaria levels, I think.
Dope.
We're getting close to, this is the best state to play classes this game has ever been in. And I've played an awful lot, not at higher levels, but
What an insane thing to say, given the journey the last while's been.
And that's why I wanted to do this retrospective now. Because it's like, we fucking forget this. We go, but the story shit. And it is. It is. and we go, but Super Bloom's not that interesting. And then we go, but where are the things that we don't notice? Where are the fundamental improvements that pay the dividends over time if people go, this game fucking owns now? And I think a lot of it might be there. Which is kind of crazy to me, but like, I just got really passionate for a second there.
Yeah.
I really think and it's not even like
they invested in foundations.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's kind of crazy. Like, they'd just done all of the work, and we look back and go, "Fuck, that was a pretty damn good year in terms of what happened."